Hello everyone, welcome back. So, welcome to another update. Sorry for the lack of videos in between. Well, I put out 2 videos. I would usually put more, but things I had to deal with, priorities, so yes, that's what's been happening. Anyways, all good. I hope you're all doing good, and if you aren't, clean, either way clean. So let's get started. This past 3 months have been very different from the previous 3 months. To define this whole period in one word, I would say it was abrupt. I will explain in a minute why I say it's abrupt. It was abrupt. But first, let's get to the drinking eating pattern, what has changed, what has not. So in terms of how I portion, so to speak, my week hasn't really. It's the same schedule. I start with the dry mode and then continue daily with certain breaks, so to speak. But even this has changed because, well, energetic, everything has changed. But the intense clearing that I've been doing correlated with this acceleration that is taking place. By the way, things will get even more accelerated, so that's why it's necessary that we all clean, and I'll explain later a little bit more about that as well. So doing this clearing, I found myself more stable when I'm in dry mode. It's like emotions are kind of like a wave. You feel like water because water is associated with emotion as well. So when you are clear inside, there's less things that can attach to you, or things that can deter you or detract you or steal your attention and focus. So you're always, or you're more in this place of calm, being centered, focused, and clear. It's very, very important. So this has changed a lot, and I didn't push anything, but I continue with the usual schedule as I do. And there have been times when it has been intense in the sense that there was also clearing. There's this period of integration. So it would be times when I would consume more. There would be times when I couldn't see, or if I would see food, it would make me sick. So I would like naturally not even want to hear or see food at all for days. But it was it was an improvement from this previous 3 months. And what I've noticed also through this clearing was that, as I said, everything goes in stages. And I said that in this past, well, there's more than 2 years now, but throughout this time, since I've done the process, I've noticed all this, how should I say, pulling out, or and there's the separation between, because food actually wants to bring you into this reality, and so you get involved into a certain type of frequency and things like that. And I just saw how everything has changed in all this time. It's like somebody has erased a lot of that pull, a lot of that drive in this sense. And for me, food, as I said, now it's experience, or sometimes to deal with these things especially when I write. But now it's even better. I mean, now it's actually much more stable. But there are these moments when I have to pull certain things from, let's say, a higher energy level into here, and then I have to lower myself so I can deliver the information and have that clarity in this sense. And then again go back up like very fast. But even this, as I said, has changed, and I feel like how all this pull has diluted so much that let's say when I go out from time to time, and I'm like in nice places, and I see all this, well, they put nice food in front of me. This already feels like, it's like ghostly, it's like a ghostly feeling. I explained that, I think, before. It's like we experience it is meant to be like full, like 100%, and now for me it's something like 40% when I have this, I would say. It's like a big portion of that, I don't know, fulfillment in this sense has been diluted, and it's like makes it all like But as I said, also because me changing all this time, this diet, well, it's not diet, but lifestyle, my social life has changed as well. You have to understand that before I did this, I was somebody that basically I cooked every day with joy, actually, because when I became vegan and I was excited to discover and create all these recipes, and because it felt like art, I discovered so many new ingredients and things, and I was like, oh, I want to create this and I want to do this, and it was very exciting. And after this, things slowly but surely disappeared in this sense. And this year I managed to actually not invite my friends for dinner as much as I would have liked to, and there was like one time or two times that was just like, that's unheard of me. Also was the work and things that I had to do, but that's not how I was. I usually had a lot of like weekly, I would say, or every 2 weeks or every 2 weeks or something like that, friends over for dinner or something like that. But this year was just one time, two times, something like that. It's just, yes, we would go out once, twice a week or something like that for variation, and just to not be antisocial completely. Also mentally, and it's good to just change. But in these places, you still have to consume something. So it's either, as I said, either tea or something. Once a month or something like that, we would just go somewhere nicer, and then I would have, as I said, like a more creative meal, so to speak. But this has changed a lot. So yes, huge change in this area. In a way, it was easy because my biggest excuse was work, and I had to focus, and I had to still do. But I'm grateful that I have people that understand this. So I don't know if you have those people around you or not, but I do. So I thank them. And another thing that I want to say about this was that when I would come back from the dry mode, I always felt like, when you eat something sour and the whole mouth goes, a sensation. Well, it's exactly the same thing for me. When I come back from the dry mode, the first bite, whatever it is, could be fruit, could be even something cooked thing, it's a reaction. It's not just, it hurts. That's the best I can describe. But yeah, a lot has cleared, so it's much easier to stay, when I'm dry, to stay in this like clear space, especially when I have to work and when I have to focus creatively. Yeah, I guess that's it for this aspect. Another thing that I want to point out, something that I was shown maybe 2 years ago, was that, no, more than 2 years ago, actually it was before that, before I did the process. And you know how everyone talks about the coming together of the male and female principle of the twin flame and stuff like this, and people don't understand that this is actually something that happens inside oneself. It's not necessarily about life partner or whatever. It's the coming together, fully. You coming, both aspects will start to work harmoniously, congruently, equally, and then there's like healing. So I was shown this more than 2 years ago, and that I was able to do this, but I was seeing also people that were trying to do this artificially. And how should I put this? You cannot fake these type of things at this point. It's like, if you want to move, like grow in energy and maintain this body, so to speak, and well, yes, move to higher frequency, you have to be able to do that. And you can't do that unless those things heal, those things come online, those things, are put together, back together, naturally, organically. And I was shown that there is this thing where there is people that are able to do this, and there are people that are trying to do this artificially. And I don't want to explain too much because I'm going to put certain things in for future books. But anyways, so, and this was this process that I felt throughout this time, and that has been happening to me, and also seeing other people that are trying to, my partner is like, no, yes, we come with other phases of souls to do certain work, and could be aspects of ourselves, but as I said, the main, I'm saying, this is the hierogamic union, marriage of male and female principle inside one self. So you are full, you are complete, you're one by yourself, standalone mode. So that was very important. I was shown, and back then I was like, I don't understand this, but now I see it more and more in people that's why I do not talk about a lot of other people. I mean, I don't talk about other people on the spiritual path. By the way, if I could just dismantle the word spiritual, I would, because this has been really an obstacle for a lot of people to actually progress and to on this path. I mean, on the path to freedom and to claim themselves, because spiritual means something beyond this physical realm, and it's something invisible, but everything is spiritual. And I will actually make another video or write about this later, but we're talking about how things work and behind what we see on our screen, so to speak. And that's what actually spiritual was, or it was trying to describe that dimension of things, so to speak. But nonetheless has been an obstacle, because has created a lot of not just complication, but misunderstanding about a lot of things. And I will talk about this in another video. But anyway, so spiritual, I would love to dismantle this word. So now I'm going to get into to explain to you why it is abrupt. Immediately after I filmed the last update, so now I'm going to explain to you the abrupt part, and something that is very important. So since I filmed the last update, well, immediately after the last update, there was this acceleration. And as I said, it's very important now to clean, because if we don't, then we have a problem, really. To move into higher energy, also to have a body or to keep this body, this also needs to transcend and transmute all these things. Otherwise, you exit. It's bye-bye. So immediately after that, something just like with this acceleration, something came forward, and regarding an issue that I thought that was like cleared, or a lot I thought, but it just came, and on this side, and I know exactly what it was, but I will not go into it right now. Anyways, so I was confronted with this thing that I was like, and immediately my body, I just couldn't move my arm. Everything was just stiff. It was very hard for me to even move or sleep. Very, very uncomfortable. It was horrible, actually. And this was for days, and I was like, okay, let's clear, let's see what's inside. And as I said, it's the most difficult thing is to actually find all these things, because sometimes they are hidden, especially when there's lower energy. But as the energy rises, it will help you somehow. It's like you have to discover, and everything is connected with, as I said, it's a phrase, it's words with other things, a network. You really have to dig deep. Anyways, so as I said, it's very important now to do this work by yourself. This is part of claiming yourself, taking dominion of yourself. This is a manual reboot, and yes, some things happen automatically, but there's a lot of things that you have to do. At least this is manually that you have to do. And I'm somebody that I have discernment, and I always had discernment and clarity about things, and I've tried also a lot of things on this path, and I saw that some of them have true, some of them have distorted things, some of them lead nowhere, and I could see that in other people and other things. So that's why I don't talk necessarily about other people and things, because I do not want to offend anybody. But I have that clarity, and you want to say, but how? It's like, I just have that, and you will understand that if you would have those codes. And there's people that have, you see this, as you clean yourself, you start to have a lot more discernment about a lot of things. Anyways, but I came with this type of things. It helped me to actually advance on this path. So because of that, I always relied on myself, and it was very easy to turn within. In this sense, is like, okay, guidance inside, here, always here. And there was this moment right now where I was like, very few times I have interventions, because they're necessary, because I have exhausted all options from this level of energy and awareness. So when I'm stuck, I always receive help. So this was the case now. I don't want necessarily to go into how this thing happened. I might put in the books or whatever, but very, very interesting. And there was an intervention, and I was given something that has cleared, has shifted the situation here on this part of my body. And not only that, but it allowed me to kind of like have a taste of what's to come and how things feel from an even higher level, and how it is to actually live from source fully. And it's very, very different. Anyways, so when I did this, for the next 2-3 days, I was in this, not euphoria, but it was a very pleasant sensation and very, very interesting. But then because now I had this awareness, because in the end it's more of like to be able to have the awareness, because then when you have that, then you are able to change the rest. When you don't have that, no, you can't. Anyway, so now I was able to do the work for this this part as well. Why do I say is abrupt? From now on, I think I already said that. If not, I'm repeating myself. we have to be really squeaky clean. You can't go higher in energy, frequency, and carry these patterns, this type of things inside yourself. And you can't be, all this fragmentation has to disappear. You have to put yourself together, and no more distortion inside yourself. No, you have to really become clean. No, and there's also part of claiming. If you lost your innocence throughout life, it's time you get that back. One of the things that I'm actually happy or proud in the sense of is that even that there's a lot of things that happen in my life, and I could have hated a lot of people by now, or I don't, and I don't like that. It's tiring. I don't naturally. It's not in me. But no matter what, I never became cynical, and I always retained this innocence. And that this has helped me actually. There was another very important factor that has helped me move and through this and slalom my way through all these obstacles. Retaining my innocence has helped. And it's a time, if you lost that, you have to get it back. You can't move higher in energy and expect that you are cynical. There's no place for that. You can't, first of all, you can't just move to the next level with that kind of mind. So yeah, cleaning yourself, it's very, very important. And that's why I'm saying it's abrupt, because every step that it's made from now on, it's like from now on the cleaning and the clearing has to be, to move to the next level, has to be so drastic. That's why earlier I said, like, you can't fake certain things from now on. And if somebody tells you, I was like, you will see in that person what they emanate, when you're around them, you will see if this is, well, somebody who's illuminated, because illuminated, it's not a bad word, or the Illuminati that, well, people understand, they have a bad connotation. That's not the real Illuminati. The enlightened ones, those are the fake enlightened ones. That to be enlightened, illuminated, it's a state. It's something that you radiate from inside yourself, and you can't fake that. And as time passes and one heals itself, clears itself, this becomes evident, and and others can notice that. So that's why I say it's abrupt, and will be even more abrupt from now on. So that's why I say always clean. I may sound redundant, but no, it's very, very important. These past 3 months also have been, in the sense, yes, have been abrupt. You can't move to another level unless you actually have done this upgrade. Serious upgrade, so to speak. God, what I want to say regarding weather. Well, you've seen what happened in August. Also, you know about the eclipse in August. That was another important moment. A real shift, another acceleration happened after that. And around that time, the portal and when the eclipse was, a lot of interesting things came out of that. On one hand, there was still continuing the weird weather, the torrential rain, storms, and other things. And at the same time, there were heat waves, and Europe was under this what's called Lucifer heat wave or something like that. So it was very interesting how everything worked as well. So August was really, as I said, the weird weather will continue, and I'm sorry that a lot of people had to suffer because of. You have to understand that at this point that there is something that is man-made, so to speak, but there's also because of the changes, and these are meant to clear the path. That's why. So that's why I don't want to comment on that then, because then I would sound insensitive, and I do not want to be, or at least you to think that I am that. But yeah, it's a time when everyone goes where they need to, and it might not be or might not look like you expect things to go to unfold. But if you're safe, good. I'm happy. Also, it's a time, as I said, where you can't. Moving forward means really everything needs to be clean, to be squeaky clean. So expect even more changes in this sense. Regarding these accelerations that happened since this eclipse, and in August, a lot of things have changed, and I saw the separation even stronger. Also, as I was mentioning earlier, through the weather patterns, this really very different, like radical, extreme things. But more and more occurrences and more overlays of me seeing and experiencing different things than, let's say, what other people would understand from reality as real or whatever. So a little example. So we were on our way to Princeton, and we wanted to go to. It was one of the time when I went to one of my favorite places there, and we got in the car and it started raining. It was really weird. It was stormy, but we were safe. And I was dialing for was trying to find some music, decent music to listen to. And I stopped one of the stations that I usually listen to, and the moderator, she was talking, and I was like, okay, let's change this and move it to another station. And then I found the same station. Well, I found that there's another station with this exact show, but playing different things, so to speak. Isn't like, and I realized, okay, of course, I just experienced another, how should I say, other reality, another parallel reality, so to speak. And that here, the same moderator, the same show had different. Something else was happening on the radio than over here, but it was the same radio, and I was like, okay, whatever, it's natural, normal. So this is just one little thing, and every time I clear something important, my reality shifts very, like in a very clear and in a very not just palpable, like very concrete way. And that's why I said it's very important for you to do this clearing work, because you will see how every time you do this, a little bit more will shift. Now for me, the shifts are well, sometimes they're extreme. That's the thing, and it's hard for me to talk about those things. Yeah, the occurrences of all these things it's a lot. And I said about the overlay, the sky that I saw for the first time in June. Now it's daily, and it's funny. Let's say I'm in a supermarket, and I said to the cashier, "Look at the sky. It's beautiful. And she looks at it. Oh, it's nice. And do you see? It's like, what? Do you see?" And I know she doesn't. And I know that, okay, we see different things. So I don't continue the conversation, because then I would be weird. So I just keep it to myself. These are just basic examples. But other than that, everything feels more peaceful. That's why I feel more relaxed now. Also, I can't force things. I'm about to finish the book, and I'm so happy. But I can't force things, because they have to happen when they have to happen. There's always a right time for everything now. And that's why I always said all in good time, because we are getting out of that forced, so to speak, timing that we're used to. It always impose our will on certain things instead of letting things be guided and have a natural flow, you know, to them. So this is what I feel naturally is like. I can't really force a lot of things, and for me that has been the biggest challenge, so to speak, because I always been somebody, hey, I do things, I still am somebody that if I have to deliver things on time, I will do that, but there are certain things creatively that right now they can't be forced. I can't. I want to, but I can't. So that's why I learn, especially if they're big things. So all you have to do in those moments, you have to allow them and find the right way to be expressed. The number of insights, the things that I receive is, again, it's basically daily. It's ridiculous. I have really like a big pile of notebooks where I write things, which from it will come probably another book only about this, but I can't even focus right now on that because it's too much right now. So I'm still focusing to finish this one. But these things increase and they come naturally, and everything is more calmer now, lighter, expanded, centered, and it's like finally, okay, we can do certain things that we couldn't do before, because now energetically we are supported, because when the balance was turned to the other side, we were the disadvantaged one. Now this has turned into our favor, so that's one of the positive now. So that's it's such a great change, and it's just pleasant to see this, but it's progressing at its own pace, although, as I said, at the same time it feels fast, yet not necessarily slow, but you don't feel the time. Time has a very, very different quality now. Sometimes I can do a lot of things in 5 minutes. I felt like I spent 5 hours. Then I don't know. It changes. So I don't bother anymore with that. But it's great. That's the thing. So regarding these changes, the separation that is ongoing. Between 18 and 19, this is part of those things that I told you that are extreme. Another example is that, so as I said, between 18 and 19 of August, I went to sleep, I woke up, I didn't know where I was. Everything looked different. It took me a while to readjust and to understand why I'm here. And that's how it feels sometimes, because I lose I told you, I lose the past, so to speak. I lose a lot of the information that I have stored so far, and also because it's the shift. I explained to you, we might see similar things, but they're not the same, because the quality of things is different, and to a point, as I said, they're all similar, and then it becomes something else. Anyways, so this is one of those things when a shift like this, I wake up and you don't know what I am, and it takes me a while to figure out. Okay. So yes, so this can happen. Attacks, yes, there have been a few attacks. I can say that just one example. Somebody was trying to stop my heart, but I'm still here. Anyways, so just a little taste of those things. Anyways, but this happens, as I said, in those moments of when the energy rises and certain things need to be cleared, and they're still trying, they hope that they can deliver something, and then actually when something like this happens, it points me directly to what needs to be clear. So I find this is very, very helpful. So in this sense, I'm not really afraid anymore. Yeah. So there is certainly give you a lot of examples right now. Well, I put a lot of stuff in the books, but it's because for a lot of people these are just my sound, whatever. But they deal a lot with the invisible things or outside of this, what we perceive as outside of the visible spectrum, light spectrum. So I deal with a lot of things as well. So sometimes, as I said, I have interventions that they're not from here, and they happen in a manner that it is different and unexpected. I can tell you that for a very, very long time now, I've been clearing a lot of things also in a different way. You know, people talk about the heart energy of the heart. This will activate this and that. Yeah, it's very important. It's very true, but they're not talking about the heart or it's actually this fire that clears everything. And a lot of these things that I transmute in this area, and it shows up on my skin. If I'm not sure if I should post. I'm probably will not, but anyway, sometimes when there is something important that needs to be cleared, it shows up on my skin. For a while, it looks like it would be something that it's burning. It's like a rash, and then it disappears. It has very different shapes, and it disappears after it's done. And it's not something that happens regularly. I mean, weekly, or it happens when it needs to happen. That's the best I can say right now. But in the same category with this type of things was something that I felt, another one of those things that I was reminded in this process of transmutation. We were Barnes and Nobles, enjoying some tea, and we were just talking about life. And I had one of my special encounters with one of those people, good people. Anyways, and I was just having I was trying to solve some things back at that particular moment in time. And when I got home, I received on the back of, I want to wash my feet, prepare for bed, and on the back of my leg there was this, like somebody has not beaten me, but there's like I had this triangle sign. Maybe I'll post a picture. Well, if you'll see, you'll know that I was brave enough to show it to you. If not, I'm sorry, but later maybe. It's not scary, but it's just they pop on my skin, certain things, and this triangle was, I realized, actually my husband realized, this is like, okay, let's check this out, what's this? And we found out that it's a water symbol, and inside has also a heart, and it just showed up, and I thought, oh my god, it's an implant, another one of those crazy things. And I was like, but it didn't feel bad, it didn't feel like horrible, and plus it had a heart inside this triangle, which was weird. Anyways, it looked like a bruise, but it wasn't like a full bruise, because I think I showed you one of my vlogs, that sometimes I'm stung out of nowhere, and then I have all these bruises and looks weird and stuff like that. Well, there's a lot of that, but I realized in time that a lot of these things are positive things. Anyways, and then I realized this is also something like that, and it had to do with the water, which is also important. As I said, it's very important to let go, but also water is always helping. But it has to do with this part of this transmutation phase where I am right now. Regarding shift and all these upgrades that are happening, as I was saying, certain things are so abrupt, and so it's hard even to put into words right now. Into words, they can happen during the night. They can happen during the day. I am thrown inside things. I just like things open up in my head, and I have to pick up something to write down everything that I'm shown. So in this sense, a lot of that happened like naturally, and at some point it's annoying because it happens in moments when I'm like, I don't know, in the kitchen cleaning something or on the toilet or something like that. Sorry about that. Regarding, I want to say about other things as well. Anyway, so these things happen on a daily basis, basically. And when there's this major transformation, I just feel these things happening inside me and how things are being moved. Things. Anyways, so that is very present. Also, since I've done this major clearings with this major upgrades, again, a lot of elimination from the body was done. As I said, whenever I hit something important, immediately this will be eliminated. So that has happened as well in these 3 months. So another thing that is happening or has happened since, I would say, since August, since the eclipse, I would say, I felt like until now there's been this time where I felt like I was drifting, because you need that space to stay away from this reality that is dissolving, and while I clear so I can access something else. But as I said, it's like a lot of things felt like they were blocked and I was drifting, and so you do what you can do at any moment, any particular moment, whatever you can. That means that's what you're supposed to do, nothing else. But since then I felt like finally this sense of direction came back, which hasn't been here in a while. Like really. So for me that's probably was one of the most challenging things, because I'm somebody that I have I am creative, but then again I'm technical and I like structure and stuff like that. So that also has been a time when I learned to live somehow outside of any structure or observe things from the outside a lot, which has its benefits because I download a lot of things, information, insights and stuff like that. So in this sense it was necessary, and is necessary for this expansion where I can see things from outside, so to speak, and understand them for what they are. But as the sense of direction returned and felt like, okay, now things are more, we can do certain things. At the same time, whenever another shift happens, it feels like this reality really doesn't make sense, and it feels like it's a physical sensation of like a nausea. It's like it feels like wow, because I'm removed from it and I feel the constriction of this reality that is here. It just doesn't make sense. Like why I'm still playing this pattern, or not, because this is like what life looks like right now. So that's why I said life here is very limited, because when I was removed and I'm continue to do so, I'm always seeing things from like I see the patterns in everything, and I see how limited they are, and the more energy becomes available, it's more constricting, and it feels like, oh my god, how am I supposed to fit into all this? This feels very, it just it's very unpleasant, and there's days when I also, because the expansion means that you have now more space that you haven't really populated with anything, so that it's like empty, and we're not used to it empty. And I have become more comfortable also with being in a space of emptiness, and letting that space unfold itself and create itself in the way it needs to, whatever. So that is also something very, very important. I'm sorry if everything sounds like, but you have to understand that at some point, from a certain point, energetically, all becomes more abstract in this sense. You'll see how your mind, your mind becomes, and you operate a lot in the areas of paradoxes. I'm going to talk about that, but another video or blog post, something like that. So this is where I operate right now, in the realm of paradoxes, and you have to, I had to get comfortable and continue to adjust to that level. So yeah, that's also something very, very important. But other than that, everything feels much, much more calmer, more stable, and as I said, the sense of direction has returned in this sense, but nothing can be forced. That's nothing can be forced. The thing that I was shown this time was, I was told, it's like, let go of the need to be loved. That might sound weird. What we understand here as love is very limited, and the way or our relationships, our interactions, as I said, all its language, and we use certain convention to express certain things, and then that gesture means that, or that whatever means another thing. So I was told to let go of the need to be loved, or how to experience love, because that's not real love. That was just another thing. Not because we shouldn't continue to be nice with each other or whatever, but as in, like, mentally to let go of all these expectations of how. It's not that I have changed my awareness in this area a lot, of course, but this was another thing. This was another level of understanding. Another thing that needed to be free, so the expansion can continue, because that's another thing that limits ourselves and creates drama and trauma in our relationship and in our lives. And luckily, I don't live in that space of that most people still live in on life and relationships and stuff like this. So in this case, I didn't necessarily have that drama in my life for a long time now, but this was another level of freedom, so to speak, to reach another level of freedom. I will refer to it in detail another time, but this was another thing that was pointed to me, that a lot of these things still block the expansion of awareness and going up in energy as well. So it's very, very important. And I was shown as like, I just go inside these things, and I'm shown, I know what I'm supposed to do. Yes, I put a lot of stuff in writing, so I don't want to necessarily give away a lot of things, because obviously this has become very, very long, this video. But yeah, very, very important as well. Another thing, so one more thing and then that's it. I think has been too long, the video. Anyways, so I'm being shown constantly a lot of things, but now also regarding my coding, my mission and things that I don't really talk about right now, because it's something that I shouldn't right now, and it's about certain time, and I do not want to go there. But I came to the realization after all what I was shown that I am done All I need to do right now is just continue to clean myself, whatever needs to be clean, and the rest, what's coming from now on, it's going to be very, very different. That's all I can say. Maybe one more thing about I remember now. Another thing, when I eat, this is back to eating, immediately after that I feel cold, my body is just dropping it's weird, it's dropping in temperature. Then of course, if it's something heavier, cleans, but it's like it has a different reaction to it now. It's just, and the moment I am back into dry mode, I reach another my stable temperature, but this is also very, I would say, lower than probably other people. So yeah, that's another thing that happens, and it's part of my experience. Yeah, there's so many other things, but it's getting too long already. It's too long. And yes, I want to put a lot of stuff also in the books, in the future books, and also blog posts and other things. Okay, I hope this was helpful. See you next time. Ciao. I'm not the type of person to despair